Hello Capricorns, this is going to be reading for February 2016. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing. Thank you for your comments, your likes. Thank you so much for sharing and for your wonderful feedback. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I have the 5-card spread. Sorry, I'm going a little bit fast here. I have a 5-card spread for you for general reading, and I have 2 additional cards for love because it is the month of love, because it is Valentine's Day coming up. So let's see where we're at. So with the energies of what is happening right now, or where you are right now, we have the card called, perfect, the Universe. That is the last card in the tarot deck, or I'm sorry, in the Major Arcana deck, which means this is the last part of our journey when we go through different stages, and the last one is the very end where we arrive. So basically what this card says, and because this is a Major Arcana, it is a significant message about you, your inner work. And what this is saying to me is that you are in a space and time of your life where I hear the words, things couldn't get better. You are on top of your world, you feel alive, you feel there is fresh air around you, you feel freshness around you. I'm getting a symbolic image of wings being attached to you. To me, that symbology signifies you are finally feeling free. And a big part of me wants to say that this is pertaining to your love life. Certainly it pertains to your relationship, and it pertains to how you feel not only about yourself, but how you also feel towards others. This could also signify work situation. It could also signify families, friendships, but I want to stick with predominantly with close relationships first and foremost. So that's where you're right now, and you know what? Thumbs up for that, because not every sign got that. Now, the energies that you are about to leave, the card we have is emotional withdrawal. This is a card pertaining to your emotions. It is shown to me in reverse. I'm going to show it to you upright, if you can see it. Number 8 is a number pertaining to stability. But the reason why it's showing to me in reverse, number 1, you are leaving a time where you felt very emotionally unstable, and you are just at the brink of leaving it, but I do see there is still a little bit of reminiscence of it connected to you right now. However, because of how you feel with respect to yourself, the world around you, pertaining to relationships, I feel that that's not going to make you feel bothered, or it's not going to be as bothersome as it was 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago, 2 years maybe, but I want to say 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago. Okay, so that's what you're leaving. The energies that are about to enter your life, the card is called fertility. Number 3 is a card of families, unions, partnerships. This is also Major Arcana, so this signifies fertility within you. Now, for those of you who don't want to get pregnant or don't want to get your partner pregnant, well, you know what to do. Protect yourself. But this can also signify that it's going to be a very opportune time for you to make commitments, to solidify new relationships, to solidify jobs. I see a stamp on the paper, maybe solidify certain decisions that have been weighing on you for quite some time, and all of a sudden I am seeing what is resembling to me stamp on a paper saying approved. And I want to say this is to do with the house. Maybe somebody is buying a house, selling a house, mortgage being approved. So very opportune time for many aspects in your life, on many levels. And he's saying not only emotionally, but also intellectually. So that's also very interesting. So that's what is about to enter your life. Fantastic, and fingers crossed. Okay. And he's saying to say to you, it's been long awaited. You've been waiting for this for a long time. Now, what's at the very bottom of this reading, of what is basically, where is all this stemming from? We have the card called Solitude, and guess what? Another major arcana. This is card number 9. 9 to me signifies endings of cycles. Solitude basically is, well, being by yourself. But because this lady is by herself, she's also looking at a book. And what this is saying to me, that because you had to spend some time alone, it forced you to dig deep into your soul. And that's what I'm being told to say. To reflect, to ponder, to solidify certain things about you that you were not sure of, and to get rid of things that were no longer serving you. And the solitude can be interpreted that you may have been alone, or you may have been in a relationship but felt like you were alone. But bottom line is, because of the time to yourself, it forced you to look deep into yourself and allowed you to gain greater clarity of who you are, where you're going, where you've been, who you have been, and where you want to go. So that's at the very bottom, at the very bottom of where this all is coming from. Now, the card that always excites me the most is the card in the future. And we have the card Perfect, material and spiritual prosperity. This is number 6. It is, the red border signifies our physical aspect. So things we have, relationships, jobs, our security, our finances, homes. And I don't know why, but he's saying to me number 6, something, he's connecting this card to this card. I'm going to show this. So this came first and this card. He's connecting those cards together. And remember when he said that this is going to be a very opportune time for you to start new things? It's basically, it's going to bear fruit. This gentleman is looking at a garden. The garden has fountain, water flows, and the water fountains represent emotions flowing, and there's no obstruction. So free flowing. There's also sun there, signifying, in a distance, signifying that you can see clearly and the future is very much bright. Okay. Now, this was a general reading, but I have a feeling that for a lot of you, this actually does apply to your love, the love part in your life. And this certainly wasn't the case with most of the signs for February, so fingers crossed. But it can represent work as well as families and friendships, but I kind of want to stick with predominantly with relationships. Okay, so that's for the general spread. Now, for 2 cards pertaining specifically to love life, what we have, the card is called Deception and Envy. This is a blue border signifying mental capacity, or things in your mental, your way of thinking. But the card is shown to me in reverse. Okay, and what that says to me is that in your love life, you either have experienced deception, or your mind deceived you. Okay. He says to me, give more clarity. Okay, when I say your mind deceived you, I want to say your mind played tricks on you. And I'm seeing a huge disconnect between your mind and your heart, or your mind and your intuition. And he's saying to me that those two were at odds. But because this card is shown to me in reverse, he's signifying that for the most part, that is behind you, but there is still a twinge or tinge of that left, which I feel you will have to work with. But because you have awareness of what was and how this got you in trouble or into situations that didn't bear fruit, because you're aware of it, you're that much more able and capable to make the right decisions moving forward. Okay, so that's the first card. The second card is from my angel deck, and the card says Ray. And I'm going to, I don't know if you can see, this lady is sitting there in a contemplative stance, and she's looks like she's meditating, so she's going within. And the card says, yoga and exercise are essential to your well-being, peace of mind, and spiritual growth right now. So, interesting how this connects to this card, because for those of you who had trouble with relationship because of your mind. Now, I'm not saying because of your mind signifying that you were ill. That's not what I'm saying. Sometimes we get ourselves into hot waters because we have certain tapes playing in our lives, and those tapes typically stem from us being children, things we learn from our environment, things we learn from our parents, blah, 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 blah. So because of those circumstances and those messages, we play out certain things in our mind and in our heads that are actually very counterproductive to what we want. It's almost like we end up sabotaging our efforts, and then we scratch our head and we go, why do I do that? I knew better. So that's why he was saying that your head and your intuition were at odds. So the fact that this card says meditation and exercise is extremely important for your well-being, that tells me that in order for you to be balanced with your mind and with your heart, or with your mind and your intuition, you need to take some time to rebalance, whether it's through exercise, whether it's through contemplative work, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through, I'm hearing, dancing, whatever it is that allows you to get back to you, to get back to what makes you feel good and get out of your head, that will really help you pave a way, excuse me, to a future that's going to be much, much brighter than that which you are used to. And I'm specifically talking about romantic relationships. He's also saying to me that sometimes you, or the person, whoever this applies to, have difficulty getting out of your head. And when I ask him what he means by that, he simply says, get out of your head and go more into your gut, because your gut knows better. Sometimes we have difficulty trusting our gut. I always say our intuition or our gut is like our GPS. Sometimes it makes sense logically, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't make sense, that's when we typically have trouble trusting it. But that is typically the time where we should really trust it. So don't get into your mental headspace, because that's what gets you into trouble. And in order for you to not be there as much, because it's still there, meditate. And I want to stick with meditation. For some of you, meditation can be dancing. For some of you, meditation can be weightlifting, exercising. I know for me, I like to weightlift, but I also have developed liking for meditation. And considering what I do, I speak to dead people, I speak to spirit, you'd think that I would meditate all the time, and it's actually quite the opposite. My mind is not keen to being very still. That's something I really have to work on. So if I was to speak from my own experience and talk about the effects of getting in my head and not being able to get out of it, I certainly understand what that is, because I've been there, and for the most part I have been able to get out of it, make peace with it. But by far the biggest impact that made in that department is to go within and really listen to my intuition. I have to tell you, sometimes there were moments where my intuition was so strong, but because of what it was telling me, it was so scary. Not scary because something bad was going to happen, but because I was afraid to make the next steps because of whatever fears. But you know, as I persevered, when I look back, I go, I was so silly. If I could just listen to my intuition more often, that would really spare me from the mental head games. Okay, fantastic reading. This is the last reading of February. For those of you who are disappointed because it's late, I truly apologize. Without going into details how busy I am, it is taking a lot of time and effort for me to do these videos, and I have to juggle it with my clients, which typically fall around 6 to 7 days a week, working. So sometimes it's difficult for me to fit things in. However, I'm getting into a place where I'm going to make some adjustments to allow for more videos to be published and in a more timely manner. But thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate all the comments that you have for me. I wish you happy Valentine's Day, happy February. Please give me your feedback, and I look forward to seeing you again in March. And if you want a private reading, you can just email me at the information below, and I will be more than happy to oblige. Right now it's about a 2 to 3 week waiting period. Okay, thank you so much again, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.